nailing it too. I wanted to say, just congratulations. I've seen how the team's been operating at the moment in terms of keeping on top of all the changes that are happening out there in the sector. With some of the big players like Audible, their conditions are, the tiniest changes all the time. They're not necessarily communicating them to
the small publishers.
No, but you're managing to keep on top of everything.
Yeah. So it's almost like going down the road and finding little obstacles and sort of going, okay, how do we manage this next time? So I think for Audible and all the audiobook platforms, it's such a growth area that they're always refining their processes behind the scene. And the way that things get uploaded, the order in which they get uploaded, and all the technical aspects that go behind it, I sometimes joke with Lorretta, I've made every mistake under the sun in the trial period of this, whole business. So very few things surprise me. So when the little things come up that have been small changes behind the scenes, that causes hiccups for us. And for authors. So for those of you...
It would cause hiccups for anybody.
The good thing is that because we've done this so many times and we're in close communications with all the distribution channels, we pick it up really early and we're able to go, okay, we'll change that. And now that's the new rule. Fine, we'll put it behind. We'll put it in place, a new protocol.
I would hate to be someone trying to navigate this on their own without having all that experience.
Yeah. And look, there are some wonderful, I read them, self-help guides, how to upload your own book and how to, audiobook your own book. Oh my gosh, it is difficult. It is really difficult. And we've got a whole team of people who work together to make sure that whole thing harmonizes and the whole thing sings. And also that the author has an immersive experience, something that they can relive their book and make sure that it's translated into sound in a way that kind of enhances their own experience of the book.
Yeah, it's exciting and it's fun. It's invigorating.
We all have fun. We all have fun in that team, which includes the author.
Yeah.
So So we're on top of it, guys. That's all I can say. And dealing with people who are the distributors and having those conversations always, it means that we're able to incorporate it and make sure that every time the process is as swift and painless as possible.
Seamless.
Yeah.
I have a question from one of the project managers, Kristen, who has been, keeping track of some of the author concerns. And there was this question, I'm going to read it so that I make sure I get it right. So she's been tracking these questions from authors, and the question is, I've just finished writing my manuscript. Now what? Should I audiobook it at the same time as my print or ebook?
Yeah, really good question. Because I think because of the growth of the audiobook part of the publishing sector, this is where people are buying books. The statistics are unquestionable and compelling. So increasingly people are saying, well, can I do all three? And in what order should I do them? First of all, I'll just let you know that one of the rules of Audible is that you cannot upload a book onto Audible. You can on other platforms like Kobe and Spotify and Google Play, without having an accompanying ebook. But with Audible, you do need to have the ebook. So there has to be, you can't go straight to audiobook and say that's the only version I'm going to have. So there's the ebook and there's a print book. However, the actual production of an audiobook pretty much compares with the whole printing and management of your manuscript. So a couple of times I've been asked, I've got my launch that's happening. I think with Zoe, her launch was happening at a particular date. Would the audiobook be available at the same time? And I said, well, you know what? I think we'll make it right on time. And in fact, ours was done faster. So we had to wait then for the print book and the ebook to be made available. Because, I was actually pleased that happened. But if you are going seriously thinking about the issue, in terms of finances, definitely if you can afford it, as your manuscript is finished and you're talking to a publisher or a publishing set of services to get your book in print and in ebook, definitely talk about the audiobook production service at the same time. And then you've got your vehicle on all three platforms. Yeah.
Beautiful. That has almost wrapped up.
The audiobook production service, part of it, has completed. And we had April Pressler, who was narrating our first academic book. But it is a beautiful academic book in that it talks about the sentience of plants and the history of humans and how we see plants and their place in the world spiritually, physically, psychologically, sensually.
Yeah,
like
gorgeous piece.
As we're going through the book, we're going, oh my God! You're like, I'm very proud that this is going to be delivered to the world.
Yeah.
And Terence is someone who has been sitting on this book. It's an academic work that he for a couple of decades now, and I almost feel like this is the best time for him to decide to publish it. So it's being published on all three platforms at exactly the same time. And vis-a-vis my previous statement, the audiobook is ready before the print and the ebook.
That's why I saved pop for last.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a natural sequence. And so the book is currently being laid out. It's also being, there is a different process of laying out for an ebook as opposed to a laid out book. So those are being managed now. Beautiful cover, some beautiful plants. The actual formal name of the book is Chaste Mimosa, The Psychology of Plants. And Chaste Mimosa is the star of the plant world in Terence's thesis, his hypothesis of that he unfurls in this book. So that's very close to being uploaded. We are waiting for the print version to get into play.
That should be a couple of weeks.
That should be a couple of weeks max.
Yeah,
and then we'll have that book out. Yeah,
you should definitely get the audiobook for Christmas.
It's a fascinating book. It honestly is. But we did have to kind of deal with the terrain of, what do you do with references? What do you do with the scientific notes? What do you do with quotes? So we've got our head around that now. And of course, what a lot of people don't know is that if you do have an audiobook, you can attach to the sale of the audiobook a PDF. So that might be things like specific drawings or paintings, or it can be references. So if a person is having the audio experience of listening to the book and they want to look at the references, the PDF is there that they can look up. Yeah.
And that's what I like doing anyway. If I'm washing up and I'm listening to the story, and I can go, okay, flick to the phone, 5 minutes later to look at that picture in question.
Yeah.
I find that's a more immersive experience too.
Yeah, it is. What we're finding is that when people buy an audiobook, they usually end up buying the ebook as well, because it's a different experience of the same material, especially for things like guidebooks or, in this case, the academic work. It's something that can be a great audio experience. You're learning things you would otherwise not.
Well, that sort of content can be a little bit dry.
But
actually hearing April and the way that she narrated it, just sounds so engaging, doesn't it? It sounds, you just want to sit. It's almost like a David Attenborough sort of luring you in and wanting to know more about science.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Lorretta had the task of listening to every single file to cross-check that each word was, in alignment with 2 drafts of this particular work. And she did a very thorough job.
I know much more about plants now than I ever did.
So you've listened to every word.
Yeah.
So well done.
That's what I love about this job though, because, constantly learning and never know where I'll be with all these topics from our authors, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. And we've been really lucky. The kinds of books and authors that we've had have been terrific, which is why I'm really looking forward to going to Parliament House, and having that launch and meeting some of the authors, because meeting them in the flesh. That'd be great.
Yeah, and their families. I hope they'll come with their loved ones as well and get to see the support and excitement for their story.
I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll be doing one afterwards, but because these guys come from every part of New South Wales, I'm hoping that we can get the local community radio stations of each of those towns, Bulahdelah and Bellingen and Cowra and Dubbo, to actually pick up these stories, and they're locals, they're local elders who've written this story, and be able to showcase it, just as a little interstitial segment, and then lead to the website where they can download the whole book.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
See ya.